Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of This Week in Boxing News with Brandon. That's me. Fresh off of a plane ride, an extremely hot weekend in Phoenix, as I will talk about some Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez, or Valdez, depending on your dialect. Talk about that and as well, let me adjust the mic here a little bit so you can see my beautiful face. As well, talk about some other news and notes from over the weekend that I heard while in Phoenix. Um, Let me kind of start there. I actually went to start there in Phoenix. Let me actually say the Glendale area is where I was actually staying. And shout out to the fine people of Glendale, Arizona. Extremely polite. I really enjoyed myself. Besides the ridiculously hot weather, everyone was friendly. A lot of stuff to do in a kind of a condensed area where the arena was at. But overall, not bad. Not bad. I have no complaints about the time there. Now, let's kind of talk about the fight itself, which was the whole reason why I was there was Navarrete versus Valdez. And I honestly thought Navarrete was going to get a stoppage. That was my thought process here when this fight was made was Navarrete is going to get a stoppage win. Didn't happen. He did have Valdez rocked several times in the fight, but couldn't close the show. You have to give Oscar Valdez all the credit in the world. The man can take a punch, which may be kind of his downfall, which I'll talk about momentarily. But he kept coming forward. He kept on fighting and was a warrior. Now, I didn't feel the scorecards. Those were quite wide. I think 119, 109 was one of them, to where one judge saw Navarrete winning 11 rounds and only seeing Oscar winning one. I think another one had him 118 was to one of the scores was for like 118 for Navarrete again, very wide. 116, 112 felt more comfortable for me. That's kind of where I had it at. There were some tight rounds, there were some close rounds. There were a few rounds where I thought Valdez just flat out won. But I didn't feel the 119 score for Navarrete. I thought that was far too wide. Now, a couple interesting notes here about the fight. One, I noticed in the ninth round, if you go back and watch it, if you notice yourself, Navarrete hurt his right hand. He threw a punch. You could see him kind of trying to shake his hand. You could see him messing with his glove. He definitely hurt his hand early in the ninth round, first minute or so into the round. Hurt his hand, didn't throw the right much, if any, that round. Was pretty limited with it. In the 10th round, kind of went for broke and started throwing again a little bit more in the 11th and 12th. But some of those were just kind of throwaway shots to kind of, just to show that he can still throw it, but the left hand was going to be the one with all the power behind it. So that was something I did notice, but he fought through it. You got to give him credit for fighting through that and doing a good job with that. So salute to Emmanuel Navarrete for fighting through that, and salute too for Oscar Valdez, whose face was pretty busted up. Looks like he had a broken orbital bone. I haven't gotten any official word on what his injuries were, but he definitely looked like he suffered some possible facial fractures or, worst case, some extreme swelling. Um, so with that, let me kind of dive into Valdez. He's had some of these fights that have been absolute wars, where he's kind of suffered beatings. I wouldn't say total beatings, but you think when he broke his jaw a few years ago, the fights with Adam Lopez weren't, easy fights per se. He got knocked down in their first go round and what have you. The Shakur Stevenson fight, obviously, as well, where it's pretty much one-way traffic for that. And then you have a fight like this here against Navarrete where he just got busted up. He got beat up pretty bad in the face. That was kind of my thing was, as the fight went on, what would happen first? Would Navarrete's gas tank go out or would Valdez's face break up? And kind of both were true. Valdez's face did get relatively swollen fast, but he fought through it. Navarrete did slow down quite a bit, but he dug up and found a second gear and was able to pick the pace back up here in the latter rounds. So, good fight for him. I don't know where Valdez goes next. Let the man heal up. I don't know if I want to see him again here this year. Granted, he just fought here in August. Maybe sometime in December could be something, but I don't think we're going to see him again until sometime next year. Same way with Navarrete. If Navarrete has a hand injury, I want him to be on the shelf until his hand gets healed. And the question is going to be, who's next for him? Who's going to be able to beat him? Who's going to be able to deal with that style? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's rumblings going into the weekend that Albert Bell, maybe the guy who may call him out, who may was I think was supposed to pop up in Phoenix after he had his fight in a victory on Friday. I didn't see him there in Phoenix. No one pointed him out and said he was there. If he was there, salute to him, but he didn't come in the ring and call him out. But that may be a fight to be made. Albert Bell used to actually fight at the Top Rank umbrella. Maybe something they could maybe easily make, but who knows? But that could be something we could be looking at down the line for Emmanuel Navarrete. But salute to him on his victory. A couple of news and notes there in regards to the fight card. Richard Torres got a first round stoppage. Richard Torres has all the tools to be a great fighter. The problem is he's just too small for heavyweight. For today's heavyweights, he is far too small. I don't think he's going to be able to contend with guys who are so much taller than him. Um, he's he would be a great bridger weight if that's something he wanted to pursue. Cruiserweight would make sense too, but again, he would have to cut a significant amount of weight to do so. But the tools are all there. We all look at him and can see him fight and see the tools are there. People are saying he's getting cans thrown out there against him. Well, whoever they're throwing out there against him, he's getting them out in the fashion he should, and that's tells you how high of a level fighter he is. If he wasn't a high level or high skill fighter, he'd be playing with his food, and guys he should be blowing out of the water would stay in there a lot longer. That's not occurring. So he's doing what he should do. He's getting these guys out of there. So salute to Richard Torres. Um, Val, Vargas, I think it's Emilio. I think that's how you enunciate his name. He fought on the card. He won. He got a stoppage win as well. And it's good to see Fernando Vargas with him. You can see photos of them on my social media on Instagram at Punch to the Face, all one word, no spaces, or Brandon P2TF on Twitter. Shameless plug, where you can get some video and audio of them backstage after his fight talking. So salute to him. He's again a guy that you can tell Top Rank's going to get the machine behind here going forward. So you'll probably see him again before the year is out. I think this was already his third or fourth fight here of 2023. He left out unscathed, so I definitely think we'll see him back late September, October. Maybe even Heisman weekend would make sense for him as well, but you'll definitely see him back. Speaking of Heisman weekend, Teofimo Lopez more than likely is not retired and will be fighting Heisman weekend. Now, against who? I don't know. But that is the rumblings and what looks to be something they're planning here with Top Rank and Teofimo Lopez. So, no, he's not retired, but no appointed for him yet either. Now, in a perfect world, what would actually happen is he has his fight here, he wins. Devin Haney beats Regis Prograis, and that's a super fight you see in 2024. That's if all the stars align correctly, and that's something that's definitely being talked about. But you can't put the cart before the horse. Both these guys have to have successful victories and obviously come out unscathed and obviously come together from a contractual angle to make a fight like that happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So salute to Top Rank. Big thank you to everyone there in the staff. Ever so friendly. And again, everybody in the city of Glendale and the Phoenix area. We had fun. Like I said, met a lot of nice, kind, sweet people out there. So salute to you guys and ladies of the Phoenix greater area. Now, some more boxing news to talk about here is we had another fight card here on Saturday prior to me leaving to go to the arena. And that was one Anthony Joshua. He had a late replacement because of Dylan White testing positive for some kind of damn substance. I don't know. So Robert Helenius, who just fought last week at a castle in Poland, got the opportunity to face Joshua. Helenius was actually doing okay. Look, AJ got the stoppage in the seventh round, but I'm just gonna be honest. He's not it. I'm sorry, he's just not it. Now I know he's a former world champion. He had 3 of the belts. He beat Klitschko and all this other stuff. AJ's not it, y'all. He's just not. It is clear to me, I think it's more psychological than physical with him. The movement of different trainers, some of the things he's saying in these post-fight interviews, some ain't right. up here, and that's going to be his downfall. Now, if the rumors of him and Deontay Wilder finally fighting and having a fight here later this fall, early winter, somewhere overseas, does come to fruition, look, if AJ's head's not right, which I don't think it will be, Deontay Wilder is going to knock his block off. The thing is this: Anthony Joshua has a high skill set level. I think he's extremely high tooled fighter. But I think mentally, that loss against Andy Ruiz, he's just never really mentally came back from. And I know he's had wins over Ruiz since and other victories since, but he's just not. And then the Usyk fights, he's just not all there. And that's just my perspective of that. And I don't think he will ever get there. So I don't have high hopes for him in the heavyweight division. Again, if the Wilder fight is what's next, I don't like his odds there. He's going to have to, really just be disciplined in a fight like that if that does occur. But I just don't see him being disciplined enough to be able to get a victory there. So there's that. Let's see here. So he won his fight, 7th round stoppage. Derek Chisora was on the undercard. He somehow won on the cards against Gerald Washington in a fight that we kind of were wondering what were the judges watching, what were they seeing. A lot of us had Gerald Washington winning. Derek Chisora is another one. He doesn't have it anymore, and he hasn't had it for the last few fights. So why he's continuing to fight, I don't totally know. Now I know, throw enough money at him, and he's even made the comment about wanting to make the money and being paid and all this other stuff. He's just not it. Again, he's another guy that if he doesn't stop soon, he's going to get physically hurt there in a ring. Know your limitations. Just know when you hang him up. And my fear is he keeps winning these fights, he's going to get in there against one of these young bulls who's going to want his name on their resume, and he's going to get hurt. Um, so let's stop encouraging Derek Chisora to get in a ring. That's kind of the closing thought there. Yeah. DAZN announced a bunch of upcoming fights here for Matchroom Boxing here in the USA. Um, Interesting places some of these fights are occurring. Um, yeah, that's probably the gist of that. So you can go look at their schedule and see what you think of that. Maybe the main one that's of interest is actually going to be back in Phoenix in December is Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez, title unification fight. Um, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Really interesting fight, but I don't know. I can't totally call that one. One that I will be interested in seeing, but I have no idea how that's going to work out. So we will see how that rolls. That's pretty much all I got. There's nothing else I really want to touch bases on per se. There was a PBC card that was going on at the same time as the Top Rank card here on Saturday. I didn't see it. I was just looking at the Twitter timeline feed as those fights were occurring. I'll be completely honest, wasn't 100% sure who's even fighting on Saturday for PBC, so my apologies there. Obviously, this fight was a little bit more of significance here, so there's that. But we got some fights coming up. We'll have a little bit of a droll, of kind of quiet time for quote unquote big bouts. Obviously we'll have Usyk and Dubois. We'll have Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, Charlo and Canelo. We'll have some big stuff coming up. So there you go. There, and salute to Terrence Crawford, who had his big parade up at Omaha. The folks of Nebraska, the folks of the city of Omaha showed him a ton of love. It's great to see that championship parade for him. But Terrence isn't done. Terrence has got a couple of good fights left that him at a very high and elite level. Let's see how those pan out. Let's also hope one of those is not against Errol Spence, because that's a rematch we don't need at all. There's no need for it whatsoever. I don't care what weight. We don't need it. I don't want it. I'll put it that way. I don't want it. Don't see any significance in having that fight. Talking to people in press row, a lot of them feel the same way. A lot of them think Errol Spence may actually end up getting hurt worse, which is kind of scary to think about if they were to meet at 154. So, yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm signing off here this week for this week in boxing news. Brandon again. That's me. I will talk to you again, guys, again here soon. As again, I'm spurting my speech here is I'm tired. I'm really tired. Um, Being up at 4, actually 3 o'clock West Coast time to get a flight. They left at 6, and then come back home. I'm dragging ass. So lift me in prayers. We go into the next work week. I will be back soon to talk more boxing with you. So until then, stay blessed, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.